Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Welcome dear learners, a series of academic video lecture programs for different subjects, courses and papers under the aegis of MHRD are being produced and presented on Swayam Prabha DTH platform MHRD Government of India for interactive learning. Under this initiative, this is a video lecture series for the subject of Geography for the course of Bachelor's in Arts with Geography or Bachelor's in Arts with Honours in Geography. This particular video lecture is first in the series of many video lectures that I would be presenting for the paper of Climatology. Today we start with our first introductory lecture and the topic is Introduction to Climatology, Concept, Nature and Relevance. The video is being recorded by Dr. Pallavi Upreti. The course coordinator and presenter for the video is Dr. Pallavi Upreti, affiliated to Department of Geography, Doon University. The academic expert and reviewer for the video is Professor Santosh Verma, Head of the Department of Geography, SDM PG Government Degree College, Doiwala, Dehradun, affiliated to Shri Dev Suman, Uttarakhand University. The video is produced and presented under the project name DTH Swayam Prabha Channels of MHRD, New Delhi, India. Hello learners, I am Dr. Pallavi Upreti, Assistant Professor in the Department of Geography in Dr. Nityanand Himalayan Research and Study Center, Doon University, Dehradun. Today we are going to start video lecture series on a very important subject of geography, which is climatology, and in these video lecture series we will be discussing step by step all the topics and relevant concepts which are associated with climatology. In this particular video lecture we will be starting with the introduction of climatology. Climatology as an important branch of physical geography, and we will be discussing the relevance and significance of climatology in understanding the evolution of life on Earth and in understanding the present atmospheric and climatological systems which support and sustain life on Earth. So let's begin. The main objective of this video is to discuss geography in general, climatology as its important branch, definition, meaning of climatology, to discuss weather and climate, the relation and difference between them, concept and understanding of climatology, its current relevance, role and subject area of climatology, nature and scope of climatology, and its association with other relevant subjects. Geography, in very simple words, is derived from two Greek words, geo and graphy. Geo means the earth and graphy means to write. So geography in very simple words is literally to write about the earth. It was descriptive at some point of time in history. It was just descriptive. People used to write what they used to see. So it became a descriptive study describing the features of the earth. However, over the time period, geography as a subject has evolved. It is a field of science now which is devoted to the study of land features, its inhabitants, several phenomena which are present on the surface of the earth, and continuous interaction between them. It also seeks to understand where different things are found and in what shape and sizes they are found. What are the phenomena, what are the processes which exist in shaping those features which are found and those phenomena which exist on the face of Earth today. How these features and phenomena have changed, developed over the course of time to their current position. So now geography has evolved as a scientific subject which not only deals with the descriptions of features and phenomena but also their distribution also their logical scientific explanation and interaction of these diverse physical, biological and cultural features which are found on the surface of Earth. So geography has become much more complex now, integrating several aspects of the features of Earth, of the phenomena of Earth. So therefore, geography over the time has been divided into two broad categories. Number one is physical geography and number two is human geography. Under physical geography, the study of Earth is conducted under four broad domains. Number one is the lithosphere, which is the hard crustal block, hard crustal part of Earth, the rocky terrain of the Earth, the hard surface of the Earth. The atmosphere, which includes the air component of the Earth, the climate, the weather phenomena and patterns existing on Earth. The hydrosphere, which deals with the liquid component, the water in its various forms and processes. The biosphere, which includes very complex kind of system wherein the abiotic and biotic components interact together and coexist together. So geography now has evolved to be a very broad science. And the atmosphere or climatology, the climate being one of the important aspects of physical geography, is considered to be significant while we talk about geography or while we consider studying geography integral. Climatology, in simple words, is the study of Earth's climate. How Earth's climate has evolved, how Earth's atmospheric condition, atmosphere has evolved over the geological timescale to its current state. Because climate, atmosphere of the Earth forms a very significant component which makes habitable conditions, which present those conditions which makes life possible on Earth. It also includes the changes in the behavior of atmosphere and other atmospheric factors like temperature, pressure, precipitation, etc. over a period of time. So there is a constant recording of weather conditions, weather patterns over a period of time, and the analysis of those conditions help define the climate of Earth. So you can say that climatology is that branch which scientifically studies the evolution, not only the evolution, their current state also, the current state of atmospheric conditions, weather patterns throughout the world, and in total the climate of Earth. But before going into much detail about climatology, I would like to define climate. What is climate? In very simple words, climate is scientifically defined as a long-term weather pattern of an area averaged over a long period of time. So when you take weather patterns, weather records of several hundred years and then aggregate them, it is a very long-term process, and then it aggregates to climate of a specific area, and that time period is typically over 30 years of time period. So you record a constant data of several aspects of climate and atmospheric conditions like pressure, temperature, rainfall of different places throughout the world, and then when you aggregate them, then when you take into consideration of several aspects of weather conditions, they become the climate of that area. So you can say that climate is long-term aggregation of weather patterns of an area, and that time period is typically over 30 years. So Earth climate arises from the interaction of 5 major climatic systems. So climate is this totality, okay? So it incorporates several components in it. Number one is the atmosphere, which is the air component, the hydrosphere, which is the water component, the cryosphere, which is the ice and permafrost, the lithosphere, that is Earth's upper rocky layer, and the biosphere, which includes the living component. So climate cannot exist as an individual component. It is the aggregation of several factors which interact continuously, which has been interacting continuously since the inception of Earth, and these components together gives Earth its unique climate and the climate which has made life possible on Earth. So these 5 factors will always be in interplay when we talk about the climate of Earth. So Earth's climate is long-term manifestation. We can say that it is a long-term manifestation of the interaction between the atmosphere and the Earth's surface and of processes arising from other causes that are internal and external to climatic system. So it is not existing in a, you can say, a cocoon. It is not existing individually. It is the long-term manifestation of interaction, because it is a process. It is the outcome of several components like hydrosphere, lithosphere, biosphere interacting continuously since the inception of the earth. So it is a long-term manifestation, and there are primarily four main factors that climate describes about an area. So when there is a continuous interaction between several components, there are certain factors which arises out of it. That is, the temperature of a specific place will be different, the precipitation, the rainfall, the precipitation in form of snow, precipitation in other forms will be different, the wind velocity, wind direction will be of a specific type, the seasonality, the winter season, summer season, and so many things in the world are different from one another. But in aggregate, if you take them, you will have a climate of earth. But if individually you'll take them, you will have a climate of a specific place with specific temperature, precipitation, wind, and seasonality patterns. Climate and weather, there is a difference. If we say that these two words are interchangeably used several times, weather and climate, but they have a difference in their understanding. While weather is a short-term condition or state of atmosphere on daily and even hourly basis, you can say that if we say that morning colder and daytime you have a hot time period, warmer. So this is basically daily basis changes in weather conditions, in conditions of temperature, in conditions of wind. You can say that that is weather, which are mostly associated with lower layers of atmosphere. This is also a very significant thing related to weather, that those are associated with the lower layers of atmosphere. So weather describes the state of atmosphere at a particular place at a particular time, including temperature, atmospheric pressure, wind, humidity, precipitation, and cloud cover. So if you are saying that it's sunny and it's hot today, it is not climate, it is weather. Okay, so you're standing in a specific place and you're saying, oh, it's sunny and it's hot today. It is the atmospheric condition of that particular day. So that is weather. But if you calculate, if you take into aggregation, you calculate, you record the weather daily of that particular place for maybe 30 years, the time which is defined for 30 years, it becomes the climate. So climate is long-term average of existing atmospheric conditions at a particular place on the Earth's surface, basically averaged weather patterns in an area over a long period of time becomes climate. So when you say that the climate of a specific area, or there is winter season in, for example, Clement Town has 4 seasons with moderate winds and rain. So it's some random place, Clement Town. So that Clement Town have had those weather conditions and patterns for a longer time period, which has become into the climate of Clement Town. Over historical time span, there are several number of nearly constant variables that determine climate, which includes latitude, altitude, proportion of land to water, and proximity to ocean and mountains. So other than atmospheric conditions like pressure, winds, humidity, precipitation, there are other topographical factors also like latitude, longitude, proportion of land and water, how much land is there, whether it is an island or it is a hill station, and proximity to ocean and mountains, which helps defining the long-term climate of the area. So now, having a fair understanding of what weather is and what climate is, you can say that climatology is a scientific study of Earth's climate and atmospheric conditions over a period of time. It is a branch of atmospheric sciences and subfield of physical geography. So the word climatology has been taken from 2 Greek words. First is kilma, which are areas or zones, and logos is science of study. So scientific study of the several zones which are found on the surface of Earth is climatology. It focuses on recording and analyzing weather patterns for a specific region and understanding the atmospheric condition that causes them. So we are not just recording, analyzing the weather patterns, we are also going into understanding what specific conditions, if they are existing in an area, what are the reasons behind them, what are the processes and phenomena which are involved in generating those specific atmospheric conditions in an area. So it also focuses in analyzing the behavior of the atmosphere over a period of time. So if you consider the geological time scale, we can say that at the beginning, when the earth, when the earth came into existence, it was just a hot ball of gases. But now over the 4 billion years of time period, it has formed its crust, it has cooled down, formed a crust, formed its atmosphere, and has evolved the atmosphere and climatic conditions which can support life on earth today. So it focuses on analyzing the behavior of atmosphere also, how it has changed over these several million of years between these time periods. So the science helps people to better understand the atmospheric conditions that causes weather patterns and temperature changes over the period of time. So now if you consider the current understanding of climatology, you can say that now if I better understand my climate, I can say that it has evolved. I can better state its composition, how nitrogen dominates, oxygen dominates, CO2 has a specific composition. Now I can better understand. Also, I can better understand why there is rainfall, why if there is a torrential rainfall in certain parts of the world and there are heat strokes in certain parts of the world, why there are specific weather patterns in different parts of the world, and temperature changes over time. So as Earth was very hot planet, now over the geological time period it has cooled down, and now in the current scenario, due to certain factors, human, anthropogenic, other biological factors, the temperatures are again modifying. So what are the reasons behind them? So today the climatologist seeks to understand three main aspects of climate. So this is the current state. Why do we study climatology? What are the answers which climatologists are seeking today? The weather patterns that govern normal conditions in different regions of the world. So there is a temporal difference, time period based difference, and there is a spatial difference, space based difference in the weather patterns and atmospheric conditions throughout the world. So scientists are trying to understand that. Other is understanding the relationships between different aspects of weather, such as temperature, sunlight, insolation, and what is the relationship between, you can say that temperature, or you can say that precipitation. What are the interactions between them and how they can modify over a specific time period, how they have existed in the past. And then you have the way that weather atmospheric condition changes over time. What are the ways it has accelerated at certain points of time in geological history, and then it has slacked back in certain time periods in geological history. And over the space also, certain time periods of history, we have had glaciation episodes, and certain areas have had, as heat stroke. So why specific weather conditions exist in an area, to what extent they will modify, and what is the role of human beings also. That is also very important nowadays. How human beings are going to impact the climatological factors, how human beings are going to interact with certain climatological factors. So you can say the way that weather phenomena and conditions change over time, what can be the potential impact on coming generations, what can be the potential impact on coming weather conditions, and how they can impact the future generations. So basically climatologists study weather atmospheric conditions over a specific region or the whole earth during a specific time period, where time is an important component, over the temporal scale, over the geological time period scale, and on the basis of climate data, continuous recording and analyzing of weather patterns, climatological data, weather phenomena throughout the world. So the basis of anything, basis of defining climate of any area, or even for that matter the whole earth, is based on the continuous assessment recording of the climatological data. So climatology in today's scenario, climatology in the present world, seeks to describe and explain several aspects. That is the evolution of Earth's climate over the geological time scale, how the Earth's climate has evolved when Earth was a dense matter of gases, it was a hot rotating gaseous ball, to then the over geological time scale, how it has cooled down, how the atmosphere came into existence, and how the atmospheric composition came into that present form where the living species were able to thrive and survive and sustain on this planet. And secondly, the nature of climate, local, regional and global. We can have a specific average global climate, and then regionally and locally it can differ from place to place. For example, the average temperature of the earth is somewhere around 15 degrees Celsius, but in places like Ladakh, in places like in hot deserts, it can be somewhere around 40 degrees Celsius, and then it can be minus 20 in certain areas of the earth. So when you aggregate the weather patterns of different places of the earth, you achieve the average climatic conditions for the whole earth, but it can differ locally and regionally also. So climatology today seeks to get answers that if there is a specific temperature in a region or a local area, how and why it differs from the global average of the whole world, and what are the conditions behind those specific climatic conditions. Why it varies from place to place, the spatial variation, the temporal variation. There can be a cold atmosphere, temperature, atmospheric conditions in a place in a specific time period of geological scale, but then maybe over the time period several million years it has evolved to a warmer region. So all those aspects are defined under climatology. The study of climate as the environment to living organisms. So climate over the time period has sought out the basic grounds where living organisms can thrive, where living organisms can grow, develop, evolve, and even get extinct if the climatic conditions are not suitable for their living. So its relation to the other elements of the natural environment and human activities. So human beings, as they are evolving in the past 500-600 years, have had a direct impact on the climate, and they are directly dependent on the climatic conditions for their several activities. So here the interaction with climate is two-way, and as human beings are becoming more and more predominant in their activities, the climatological factors are becoming much more dynamic. Other one is the study of climate as the direct environment of man. So as you all know that the evolution of human beings, their colonies, their types, their races, even their physical forms is somewhere outcome of climatic conditions. So climate has a direct influence on the evolution of human beings as well. And lastly, the nature of natural factors and human activities. The nature of natural factors means the type of climatic events, the type of weather phenomena we have had in the past, and now how their nature is evolving into other extreme events in certain places and into disastrous events in the other places, and total reversal of atmospheric conditions in other places. And what is the nature of human activities? The nature of human activities, is it going with the carrying capacity of the earth, or the nature of human activities is much more aggressive towards the climatic conditions of the earth, and how are they going to impact the future of climate? How are they going to impact the future of coming species on our planet? Now coming to role, nature and scope of climatology. As we have already discussed in the previous slides that climatology is one of the significant branches of physical geography, and as man's understanding of his physical space has increased, so is the nature, scope and role of climatology increased. It has become much more dynamic with much more understanding of the atmospheric conditions of not only the past but also present and even predicting the future. The very much existence of atmosphere, which creates unique climatic conditions on our planet, which helps sustain life forms, is under the domain of climatology. Secondly, Earth's climate has not remained stagnant over the geological history, over the evolution of Earth itself. When it was a hot rotating ball of gas, it has evolved and it has stabilized into a significant composition which has made possible life on Earth. So this climate has changed, it has evolved since inception of Earth. However, the problematic condition, the climatological scope becomes much more expanded in the domain with increasing human activities, because now the human activities have taken a pace which is somewhere affecting the climatological conditions and can potentially have a significant impact on our coming generations, on the survival of our futuristic biological life forms, and even the physical processes and physical conditions on Earth. And this phenomena is commonly known as climate change. So with climate change, the impact of human activities on environment and the way it is manifested in recent times, recent climatic events, recent natural hazards, in terms of disasters, in terms of extreme weather events, and also how it might continue to change if humans continue to release greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. So when we talk about the scope of climatology, now the scope of climatology is also becoming much more concerned with the factors that how human activities might have a potential to change the climatic conditions in future, and how and which paths we have to follow so that we can keep this particular climatic conditions intact on our planet. The future predictions and global partnerships are becoming much more important factors in not only understanding these climate changes, but also in terms of initiatives to mitigate them, so as to we can maintain what we have for present as well as for future. Climatology is the study of Earth's climate. So the factors that affect the past, present and future all comes under the nature, all comes under the scope of climatology. So this particular nature, these particular factors which have affected the climatological conditions in the past, in the present as well as in the future, this also defines the scope of climatology, which is not just global, but it is regional, it is physical as well as it is applied, and it is close association with several other subjects like meteorology, physical sciences, physics, and even social sciences, because human beings have evolved, have developed into the way they have today, depending upon the climatic factors, depending upon the physical factors of an area. So the societies which have developed, their cultural, their specific culture, and even their physical appearances have been an outcome of a specific climatic conditions which we have on our planet. Also, the role of climatology is dependent on its nature. So the nature of climatology is very dynamic, it is scientific, it is interdisciplinary, because it cannot exist in seclusion. It has to interact with several other fields like meteorology, where you collect data of various meteorological aspects and then integrate into definitions of climatology. It can be applied when we talk about the nature, the impact of human activities. It has a severe and direct implications on how we are going to affect our climatic future, and it is complex and combination of several factors which are continuously integrating with each other. So the role, nature and scope of climatology over the years has become very, very dynamic. It has become scientific with mathematical models, explanation, and it has become applied also, so that people can ascertain that what can be done for futures, how we can solve the problem of climate change, and how we can make our futures better for the future generations. So broadly, the subject area of climatology today includes, which we will be covering in the series of our coming lectures, will be the Earth's atmosphere and atmospheric system, temperature, insolation and pressure systems, atmospheric conditions, stability and instability, global atmospheric circulation and wind system, climatic regions of the world, and man-nature interaction. Coming to the summary of this particular video, climatology is an important field of earth sciences and physical geography. It is the study of Earth's climate and atmospheric system, which has evolved through the interaction of various natural systems and various processes over a period of time. So here, one of the very important things to understand is, over a period of time, Earth with its unique climatic conditions might have gone through a transition which has given interactions of various processes over a time period, which has evolved a unique atmospheric and climatic system which supports life on Earth, which might not be true for other planets. However, it might differ regionally. It might differ regionally from region to region. The climatic conditions can be different. However, the climatic conditions for the whole earth can be averaged and summed up, but it may differ region to region and local to local. Several natural and human induced factors have shaped and continue to influence the earth's climatic system with varying degree of intensity over the course of geographical time period. Now, several natural factors might have worked with a different intensity in the past in shaping the climatic conditions, and they might have been replaced with a different set of climatic natural factors in the recent past. However, human induced factors in the recent past have shaped and are continuously shaping and influencing the earth climatic system. Their degree is entirely different from one region to another. While one country, one type of economic activities can have a significant role in altering the climatic conditions, other country might not have that significant role. So the degree and the intensity of human induced factors have also varied in the historical aspects and even today. Another important aspect here is that this has defined the nature and scope of climatology. How varying degrees of intensity of several factors, whether it can be natural or human induced factors, they define the nature and scope of climatology today. It can be applied, it can be dynamic, it can be interactive. So climatology today is the study of Earth's climate and factors that have not only affected the past but also present and future of climate changes, which on the other hand defines the nature, role and scope in understanding the earth, in understanding the conditions which has allowed life to thrive on earth, and also how these conditions can change, how these climatic conditions can alter and affect the future generations of our planet. So here with this summary, I conclude this particular video. We have discussed the introduction to climatology here. We have discussed what is the difference between weather and climate, how climatology is an important subfield of physical geography, how it has evolved over these many years, how it has evolved as a subject, how it has enhanced our understanding of various aspects of climatological conditions and atmospheric conditions of our climate. And in the coming slides, we will be discussing various important topics of the paper Climatology. That will be all for now. Thank you for your time. Thank you.